The DAV Network welcomes you to the following presentation of Double Drop Kick Podcast.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back.
What is up, everybody? Welcome. The inaugural Double Drop Kick Podcast right here on the DAV Network, coming to you live right now through the power of your internet. Welcome in, everybody. This is a little surprise show. We're going to do a little kickoff again with Colin, who is just at StarCast Down Under with C4 Authentic Belts, with a mind-blowing, hobby-blowing introduction and news and announcement that they recently did about teaming up with none other than Crumrine Belts. Yes, folks, that is true. That is true. Say it again. C4 Belts has teamed up live with Crumrine. Boom, the hobby's changed, brought back, thanks to Colin, to 1986. Can't beat him at all, and we're going to bring him on right now. We're going to thank all of you for watching, joining in, like this, share the news. Make sure you join Wide World of Belts. Love those wrestling belts and championship belt brothers. Take a look at the guys over at Spanning the Globe podcast, blowing their mind with the ease and the laughability and just the smoothness of they put on. And I hope to follow in their footsteps, and I hope to bring you something that you like right here on Double Drop Kick Podcast. Let's kick it off by bringing on none other than the man, the myth, the legend. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Well, let me say this beforehand. YouTube, there's Ethan. So they've still not changed it. Thankfully, it was supposed to stop on the 19th that I was able to show your comments. Hopefully, you're able to see them. If you're not, I apologize, but I'm able to see them and read to them. But Facebook is doing some crappy stuff to where we're only not able to use third-party apps. They were supposed to stop it on the 19th, but it looks like it's still working. But let's do this. Let's do it right now. Let me bring on my main man, my good friend, Colin from C4 Belts, baby. How you doing, brother?
Hey, very good, very good. Yeah, finally, I'm not surrounded by people, and I'm back at the workshop, or my workshop, and it's good to be here. Congratulations on your new.
I appreciate it.
Oh.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Got a little producer, doing some things in the background for me, but I thank you, and I hope this is successful. It's going to be an every 2-week podcast, not to bore you guys, but there's going to be great things coming from gaming to a little bit of funniness. We're going to interview some guys. One of the first guys we're going to probably do is a guy that you pay him $10 and he calls and delivers bad news to anybody you want, and he puts it on live on his page. It's a pretty funny thing. I said, hey baby, I got herpes, and guess what? You got it too. So we're gonna see what that is, but I'm excited to have you, brother. What you've done, first of all, thank you to this hobby. Thank you for all your tireless work of what you've done. A lot of naysayers and a lot of haters, but you always got to remember, the people hate on things that they can't get out of the mind because they're jealous. You stay focused. You stay on you. You've changed the hobby, and I appreciate what you've done. And you just got done with StarCast Down Under. But since we broke the news here early, and I'm going to show some pictures from StarCast while you explain how this exactly came about to you teaming up with Crumrine. And then when you talk about that, what does that mean for your belts, as far as that, meaning the making of them and what's on them that will be from Crumrine?
All right, sure.
I know there's a lot to throw.
Yeah, a whole bunch of questions in one, but that's all right. Yeah, it all started at the beginning when I started to get into what do you call it? Silversmithing, silversmith belts. So I left the. Look at these comments. Hello, everybody.
There it is.
I
I'm
can
feeling
finally
good.
see them.
I'm medicined up. We're a little bit late. We were going to do this unannounced, and because the last one that we did, as you know, you couldn't hear anything when you were at Starcast. So we said, you know what, let's do it again so we can get these questions better answered, and Colin can relax, sip on his tea or coffee there, and answer these questions. But yeah, I'm medicined up. A little bit late getting on here, but we had a storm that knocked out our internet. But Colin was patient with me. It's the top of the morning to you over there. It's what, 11 a.m.
Yeah, that's noon now. 12:25, but it's all good. I just want to thank you for covering because we did have connectivity problems. Well, I tried to get you all in on the action, as it was unfolding at Starcast. You see, otherwise, you're just boring old me sitting here talking. I think you'd be more happy if you saw Mickey James and all the
Yeah,
action unfold.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yep, she was
yeah,
there live on air with us. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And-
there she is
oh,
again. Boy, she pops in right at the bat, right at the thing.
yeah. She was fantastic. Yeah, well, let's the pictures up, and let's talk about Mickey. Um, yeah, a wonderful person. The first thing she said when she saw the belt, well, I've got a video of all that sort of thing.
Right.
How beautiful it was, how I wanted to have her name on it. Um, And most important, the moment she saw those nameplates, sensational and Sherry Martel, she dropped everything and picked those up and said, I'm so glad that you've got the sensational Sherry." Oh, first she saw the sensational, she knew it was her, and then I showed her Sherry Martel, and she's like, "This was my hero. This was my hero. Um, uh, this is who I wanted to be like getting into the wrestling industry, and um, and she gave us insights like Sherry wasn't treated like just a woman; she was one of the blokes, and that's what I wanted to be. And it was very very touching and very exciting all at once. And I couldn't believe, I was telling all this stuff and the normal, and then she started putting the belt on. I was like, oh man, my heart dropped when I saw that. I was like, oh, this is amazing. We've got Mickey James modeling her belt.
Yeah, and
For
she's
little
holding
old
the
me.
sensation. Yeah, she's holding the sensational plate there as well as the Sherry Martel
Yeah, I didn't
nameplate.
even ask her or anything. She just put it on because she loved it so much. And yeah, and we are working towards bringing these belts, particularly
And
the women's one.
that right, and that's
Back
the
to
woman's version, right? With the
yeah,
smaller belt size, correct?
yeah, just as it
Okay.
fits a woman.
Okay.
A
All right.
27-inch.
All
The
right.
plates are quite identical, similar. You've got to understand when you put these things on, you can see how it slopes and sits on people, particularly when you just put it straight away like that. Uh, you know, a lot of misconceptions come in. Oh, the shape's not right or whatever. It's look at the curve, man. Look where it's sitting. It's not
Right.
sitting straight. You know what I mean? But
Right.
if we had it sitting like Flair's, what would happen? It'd be the same.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but Flair's not as good looking as Mickey. So here's a treat to you.
Ethan,
um,
do you mean C4 has their own YouTube page, and this will be on it afterwards? I couldn't do it while showing it here and on there because I'd have to get Colin's information, and tonight we weren't able to link that up until late. But what is the C4 authentic YouTube page?
oh, geez. Well, the social handles are on the website. So when you go to the website and you click on YouTube, it'll take you right there.
Okay.
It's
I
hard,
remember
hard to
finding it. I remember finding it C4 authentic belts. If you type that in on YouTube, you find it. Mine
Oh,
for double drop kick, it's not appearing on it now because YouTube is dragging their tail. They're supposed to approve your channel within 48 hours. I'm on now day 4 waiting for them, but it will be, and I have the name Double Drop Kick approved for the podcast. So that there's that. But anyway, good evening out there, guys. If you would just click on the link, I'll be able to see your name. All it is 2 clicks. It'll say approve StreamYard to use your Facebook picture and your name. That's all it does. And then you can see your name. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Just stick your name in there so I can tell who it is. Mark says Mickey and the belt are an awesome combination. There you go. Yeah, iconic. Yes, they are. So you revealed this at Starcast. So before we talk before we get into the Reggie stuff, why don't you tell us how Starcast went briefly, and what you want to share about that event and how it went?
yeah. Well, Starcast, there was a with showbiz, I guess. I'm all new to it. I'm just a guy, trying to make the best. Well, trying to bring honor and respect back to the people who made this belt and the families that are bringing it back. And that's all I am. I'm not a showbiz type. I'm not the wrestling kind of promotions kind of guy. I've got a private life, which is pretty high level operations. That's a different life to me. Whereas this was a passion project. So you learn very fast that never believe showbiz promises. That's for sure. And we had a lot of things planned, particularly with Conrad's involvement. Fortunately, you saw the announcement he had a death in the family and couldn't come. But I only found out about that the morning I was setting up, and it was quite devastating, to be honest, because all
Right.
this time you think, I know all the learnings, everything I'm going to put next to Comrade's belt. Let's see how far we've got.
Right. You even had his
Um,
nameplate ready to go too, didn't you?
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, had it there. Yeah, he did. He did apologize and things like that. So there's no
Stuff
ill
happens.
will.
I think it had a death in the family. He said.
Yeah, yeah. I can't go into too much detail. I'll let him tell that story. But what it left me was, normally I'd just put these belts or the display up for my side, and then they'd have people looking after the display, and then I'd be able to go enjoy the show because I thought I'd bring my family there and to Ballarat. It's a nice little town for family, get-togethers and things.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I thought I'd go enjoy the show in the city, but then I was stuck doing, um, you know, 8 hours, carrying the whole belt display, belt exhibition.
Right.
Lucky I had a friend with me that's also a fellow Australian by the name of, you probably know him as Groovy G.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he was with me, and I deliberately took 2 rooms uh, because I knew he was coming. I thought, oh well, let's showcase your belts too, and mine's an exhibition, but you can, if you want to sell some belts, you can use my space here, and it was a good, he's a good friend, so I invited him to join me. So
Right.
luckily, between him and me, we had enough to make a proper display. Um, so we became basically the centerpiece of the belts exhibition. Luckily, I put in so much work that the wrestling audience, because they're not belt audiences, not everyone, but the wrestling audience, which is the majority of the people who come to these things, they didn't really bat an eyelid that Conrad's belts wasn't there. I know all the belt people would, I would, but the guys, when they saw this, and I was also able to be honest or bring honesty to the show in saying that I do have pieces of the original big gold belt in my belts.
There you
And
go.
then, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise. We were front and center, and at a necessity, we had to basically steal the show.
There you go. That's exactly what you did. You had your belt set up there. There's the setups there that you got with a little Bret Hart action sunglasses going on there.
Yeah, that was for Brett to unveil his
and
branded
and
belts.
and that he did. And talk about that. There he is unveiling the one with his. Talk about his experience and what he thought.
Yes. Well, you said in the start you said, um, he's just came back from Starcast. To be honest, I hadn't finished all of the Starcast things until last Friday, so 2 days ago, because Brett was still here all the way through. I think he goes back today with his wife, and I was actually lucky enough uh, to be brought back after Starcast to see Brett one more time and actually meet him properly. Uh, but I would say the celebrities that came, Brett being the centerpiece. To be honest, he didn't. Mickey, wonderful. Eric Bischoff is Eric Bischoff. Um, but Brett's line, you probably didn't need any other stars. That stretched all the way out the door and down the street. So yeah, so in Australia, I guess we're part of the Commonwealth, and he's Canadian. I think he means a heck of a lot in Australia. And this fella here, yeah, he they all came to the rescue. When Conrad wasn't there, and
Nice.
I guess they realised how let down I was. They all came, and it wasn't just them; it was the organisers. I said, "No, you guys got to come see this because Cole, you know, Colin's basically carrying the show now."
So what did Brett say when he unveils it? What did he think of it?
Yeah, I'm going to release that in a minute, soon. First, opens it up. There's two times. So at Starcast, when he opened it up, uh, it's a little bit different. Like when they're at a show, when the celebrities are at a show and things, it's always like, oh, what do you want from me? As in, okay, do you want me to sign something? Do you want me to take a picture? Time's short. They're very generous, but at the same time, it's like doing a job. It is doing a job. Eric's just like that. But Brett, uh, when he came, you know, we let him know straight up that we're not here to ask anything from you, Brett. We're not, we just want to give you something, and things like that. And the first thing we did was we brought him to the Reggie Parks display. And then we moved him to the big gold. So the Reggie Parks display, and we were able to talk about, there it is. When Reggie's loved ones, the ones that cared for him basically all his life, knew that Brett was coming, they said, because I don't want to name the names because I want to keep it private until they're ready to let us know or to publish. But they sent us Reggie's actual ring gear. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
See the trunks, all that is actually.
We had that. We had
Reggie
that live. Yep, we sure did.
Yeah, that's his ring gear, and that's because Bret Hart was coming. They want, we wanted to do something that celebrated their friendship. So if you scroll down to that picture, you see Bret and Reggie together. So we showed him that first, and on that right hand side of that photo is a photo album of personal pictures of Reggie with Bret. Mm-hmm. And that one, it's broke the ice, but that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to show him this, and and he was very sad. He said it was sad that how Reggie passed and things like that, and it was through COVID and things, but he was really fond of the memories. He's looking at that, it's like, I think that was at my house. That was probably the last time that I saw him. Reggie visited me before he passed, just before he passed. And that's
him looking through the photo album right there.
Yeah. And the first thing he says was, after he looks at it and the story and things, he was really appreciative. But the first thing he says, is this for me to keep? Can I take this? Yeah. That's a gun. He's he's a bit he's a bit quirky, which is pretty cool. He's at least he's showing you his true self. And
Well, I mean, he cared a lot for Reggie. He liked Reggie a lot. So I think it was important that, with a lot of things that happened after Reggie passed, of, not having the people to leave certain, exactly family members to leave stuff too, that, there's a good amount of people that loved Reggie, and I think he liked that book, and probably wanted it to remember his good friend by.
yeah, luckily we said that straight up. Said no, we made this for you. So we gave, and that's our gift to you.
And
So
I imagine he was very touched by that.
yeah. The first, he was, and because the first basically time we met was through this, and he's working. So they don't have much time. They have to get back. He has to get back to his desk or things like that. That is later on. So I did a quick unveiling for him then.
I'm pretty sure. Sorry to interrupt you. Pretty sure he said, "Is this mine too?"
Yeah. I was going to skip to that. Yeah. Go back to. Is there another picture of me and him standing together at the booth? Because this was afterwards. This was on Friday.
Nope, not the one that you sent me. I don't have another one. I just have that one that you sent me in that pack.
Okay, that's a good one. That was at Starcast. So go back to the red one. Yep. Yeah, go back to the other one, the one that was holding the belt by himself there. So that's straight after he opened it, and he said, this is awesome. It's amazing. It's and I started telling him the work that went into it and things, and he said, no, this one it truly does the original justice. And I've got that. I'm going to post that soon, so you'll actually see those words coming out of his mouth. And then, and then that's what he said. Oh, is this for me to take? He's like, oh, well, no. He got me on the ropes there, and you can see. And actually, I was filming it, and then you can see the camera coming off of him and looking at the wall.
Drop your names in the comments, guys, so we know who you are, so I can say hello to you personally.
I'm trying to think of what to tell him. It's like,
right?
It's kind of true, but these are all sold, The 3 customers are waiting, and they're going to kill me if I sent their belt to him. But that's what I'm thinking. Right. But I said, no, I always intended, if he really wanted this, and he says, I want to put in my bar. And I didn't know his bar was, I thought it was
wow. Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so I looked that up, and it's like, oh, geez, it's like Disneyland, his bar. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah, sure. Luckily, my business sense came in and said, no, I'll look after you after all this is done. After, and then, and that's what led to the next picture. So you click on the next picture, the one that was me and him together. Now, after this was taken only Friday, and it was at a show, like an encore show. So we left Ballarat, which is about 2 hours away from us, and we went back to Melbourne. And this was in what do you call it? This is in the eastern suburbs, so it's about half an hour drive from my house. And Kim Vale, the organizer, said to me, well, first I asked him, well, Brett wanted one of my details so I can contact him again. He actually wanted to hang out with us at Starcast, but we just all ran out of time. And Cam says, I've got an idea, how about you come along to this event and we'll get, we'll do something special with him. And that's what I did. I came there. That's us backstage. And we had some unprecedented time with Brett. And I've recorded that too, and I'll post it. But it's good for me to explain it now, because a lot of the dialogue, it's hard to catch because there's a show going on in the back. Mm. And I actually was able to, first of all, again, he was in work mode. So I was like, oh, what do you want? Because everyone, all the VIPs or the sign meet and greets and that, that's his he's been doing that for so long, for a whole week, and I felt sorry for him, to be honest. And I said to him, no, I don't want you to do anything for me. I just want to talk to you, have a seat, talk to you, and I give you something to entertain you about a little bit, instead of you having to give to everybody else. And yeah, and if you want to hear my story, um, you know, I'll continue, And he said, yeah. Oh, he was really appreciative, actually. He's like, oh, check, nod his head, and he took a seat. And then I went and
Very
took
cool.
a seat, grabbed the seat and the belt. And then I told him this, because it's good for me to explain it to you now, because when you watch the audio, everyone's going to ask me, because of the noise in the background, and we had to cancel it. So you go, oh, what are you saying? What are you saying? Like, no, well, this is what
Right.
happened.
Right. That's why we're
So,
doing this tonight again.
yeah. And he said, oh, well, first of all, I told him, I said, and it's true. If you think back, okay, like one of my posts says, it took flair to make the belt famous, it took excellence to bring it back. Right? And I said to Brett, people think I'm the belt guy. I'm just the belt guy and that. But actually, I told him what my real profession and my real job was. And, and then it's like, he just a big smile on his face. And he's like, it's like, oh, that's what it is. And I said, the reason for this is, subconsciously, you've inspired me, from the get-go, from the last 25 years, because my work involves, I guess, safety, quality, environment, but most important, continuous improvement and excellence. And you've embodied excellence through all this time. And so as a kid and things, that's what I view when I look at excellence, to be the best of the best and keep getting better. And through relationships, he cut me off there and said, oh, that's wonderful. I'm really happy to hear this, especially when anyone tells me that I've inspired them, because I've tried my best to be the hero, the good guy, And, sometimes people come and they're lawyers, and they're not lawyers, well, they're surgeons and doctors and things. And to know that I inspired them means a lot. And I said, yeah. And then I told him the story of how this started. So how this started, I said it started around about 5 years ago. I tried to make belts and things like that, but it all really picked up in the last couple of years, when I lost two brothers in 10 months, and all this started a week before I had to put my dad in a home. And he really was taken back. He's like, what? Really? Three brothers? No, two brothers. Oh, I'm sorry about that. And I said, part of this was how we became close is my way of working, how I made this possible. My way of working, or my way of doing business, or excellence, it's about people. It's about relationships. It's about care, respect, and love, for everyone involved. And that's how we do impossible things. And he said, oh, that's even good principles to live by. And then that's how the conversation kept going. And I said to him, the reason, and the other reason why this worked, was that at the same time, when all this was happening, and when we started to do this, Roberto himself, he misses Victor, and then I've lost in my family too. So that's how we bonded, and we were determined to bring back something, this belt, because it was new. It was art, his work, but it was something that was around when our loved ones were still here. Right. So that's how we bonded.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then the feedback about the belt, he looks at it and he's like, this is amazing. When I had the belt, so this is what Bret Hart said. When I had the belt, it didn't look nearly as good as this.
Right. Of course. Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
this is something
And that's what a lot of
totally.
people get wrong. They want to compare today's belt to then and don't realize. I mean, in 2 years you can go and look on some of those YouTubes and you can already see some of the floral patterns in 1988 were already smashed. Some of the things are already messed up. The silver coloring is already gone in the belt and gotten so dirty already.
Yeah,
There's so many people that are misinformed about the belt. I mean, all they have to do is buy the big gold book, but many people don't even know that the plates were curved. And you can easily go back and watch wrestling from Mid Atlantic days and see it.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I imagine it looked a whole lot different when he got it, but still a spectacular and historical belt. Probably,
yeah,
besides that,
exactly.
it's still a great belt.
Yeah.
So,
So that's why,
so
yeah, that kind of explains why when he had it at WCW, he, you know, he wasn't too impressed with what they gave him because it was all worn and used and things. But that's just conjecture. He didn't recognize, um, he didn't recognize what it should have looked because he had never seen it when it was new.
right,
No,
right.
and then when we
So
show him, tell him how much work, and he can see the work and quality.
right.
You know,
So there was
he said,
an right. There was another person that I don't want to keep you it too far long. We're already over at 30 minutes, but there's a lot still to get to. But you had met somebody else that was trying to get a picture to this person whose name's on there, and she wanted a picture of this belt. Tell us about this interaction and how that went down.
"Oh, that's Jordan Grace." Yes, she was great. She actually came into the display room, like looking for me and Miss, which is really nice. Out of her goodness of well, her interest. Really, it was really awesome. And I explained to her, I showed her, oh, this is really great and things. And
Sorry, Kev.
I said, well, pick up a belt. Which one would you like? And she looked through. Oh, that's Dusty. Yeah, my Cody's would really want to see this. And I said, okay, well, thank you. It's an honor. If hold it, bring it up. I took a video on her phone. I took close-up photos and things for her to send straight to Cody. And yeah, I've got a couple of snaps here. So yeah, no, she's kind of made it a mission to show Cody this. I guess it's different when it's inside, like it's like a friend or like a proper exhibition than just giving it to in a lineup because they're not in work mode. When the stars are in actually normal mode, they can actually understand what's going on and what they're seeing. So yeah, it was nice that we had a second go at it.
What's up, Antonio? You're just in time to hear him get into about the big thing now. About let's get into that a little bit about your teaming up with the big announcement, the C4 with Crumrine. But first, why don't you tell us what's the new belt? How you've changed the name. So let's announce the new name of what you're now going to be calling this belt.
Okay, so we've had Crumrine involvement from the get go, like members of the family. It's a complicated dynamic there, and so all you guys who've already got belts and that, there is Crumrine involvement in all your belts from the
Correct.
get go. It's put together, okay. But I couldn't use the name, and I didn't want to use the name unless we really repaired or connected with the Crumrine business itself. Yeah.
Right.
and the active family members and management there. And I spent the last, I guess, 3 years or so building up that relationship. And I was lucky enough to be introduced um, to Alice, who was the production manager of Crumrine, or still is, of what's left, and Alice Thompson, and then later on I met Jeannie. But the person who introduced me was Teddy Sharua, the man who made Crumrine 2. So long story short, Crumrine 2, don't look bad at it. No one should ever, critiques doesn't mean anything because why? That was made by the daughter of Charles Crumrine. Okay? in silversmithing terms, that's a very historic piece. If you can open your mind a little bit to understand how silversmithing and art works, it's quite unique. It's not about replicating a belt. It's about bringing your art and skills to it, and that's why there's only ever one big gold belt ever made until now. Anyway, so long story short, one day I got through to Jeannie Lachey, which is Charles Crumrine's daughter, and she'd been hearing and seeing what we've been doing through both Teddy and Alice, and I asked her, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to step on your toes or do anything that's that you won't authorize or won't approve of." And she said, she cut me short. She said, "No, you were doing this for Victor. You're doing this for Victor Ortiz. He was a beloved team member of the business, and we support you wholeheartedly because you're doing that." And then of late, they've even been able to help me with the production side of things by locating the previously lost original die casts that the Crumrine team made with Victor for the conchos and the figures. That's probably basically the last 2% that was missing of calling this, of remaking the whole belt.
And say that again so that everybody, is not mixing that, that you are able, that you now have and producing on these belts. Again, say that again.
Original pieces from the original dies of the big gold belt. The original big gold belt. So you actually have, as an option, to have the original pieces of the big gold belt in your C4. Ortiz Crumrine big gold belt.
There you go. There it is. Now being called the C4 Ortiz Crumrine big gold belt.
Big gold belt. That's right.
There you go. Big time news.
Yeah, combination of 5 years. We didn't ever want to use that name in vain. You don't do that. You don't go and make replicas and things like that. No permission, nothing to do with silversmithing or the family, and call it Crumrine. We had the core to our business is to do the right thing and to do it right with the right people. And this was a miracle. This was an achievement to be able to repair relationships or unite families with us, and to bring honor and respect back to the families who made it and the ones that are bringing it back.
It's pretty awesome to be able to now be able to take everybody back, and then on your belts you're going to have actual Crumrine pieces. And just quickly talk about the Ortiz for people that don't understand the Ortiz name in there and why that's just as important as the Crumrine.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't have Victor Ortiz, all you'll have is the conchos and the pieces. The whole original big gold belt, was made by the master silversmith with his team, and that master silversmith was Victor Ortiz.
There you go.
He even trained and taught a daughter of Crumrine how to engrave. So this is a very, very important piece of the puzzle. And he passed away in 2007. And we spent the last 5 years working with his family because they actually understand or invented this style of silversmithing, this style of engraving. Right? And Victor happened to work for Crumrine and introduced or was the first master of this for this scroll pattern and things like that. But more importantly, this 3D style engraving, it's not one style, it's multiple styles putting there in this arrangement to get that effect that you see. As you can see, if these buckles here, right, they're Crumrine buckles.
Yep. this comment right here. I mean, again,
Yeah.
folks out there that are watching this, you do not know. This is one of the biggest accomplishment our hobby has ever ever had. Once again, this is one of the biggest accomplishments this hobby has ever seen.
Yeah.
It's that big. I mean, this belt has Crumrine's name attached to it. Pieces that are going to be original back to 1986. And with the Ortiz name and having lineages from the makers back to 1986. You can't get any better than this. There are beautiful replicas out there. You're having something authentic Crumrine to yourself to be able to do this. And there's many people that are making a beautiful Crumrine replica, but it's not a Crumrine. This is. And not knocking on anybody else that makes a Crumrine style belt or this big cold belt, but they don't do it. Colin does not. I own this belt. And I would take this belt with what we're talking here over a WWF Reggie Parks, which I have, Winged Eagle. I think it's a step above that because you're talking about one of the greatest, two of the greatest belts of all time. But still, when you're having something that's authentic from Crumrine, which the hobby's never done before, there's many Reggie Parks logoed belts out there, even though they cost a pretty penny. This is just huge, and I think people need to humble themselves that are fanboys of certain groups or certain makers need to stop themselves and say, congratulations, it's a great belt. If you don't want to add it to your collection, that's your problem, but you're paying just about the same amount as you would from some of these other makers. What Colin's done is humbling. The roots of this belt that you are getting go right back to the beginning, and you were holding 1986 all over again without having to hold it 40 some years later, being absolutely ripped to shreds, even though it has a whole lot of history to it. You're getting it like Ric Flair debuted it, from down to the leather. You talk about the double saddle leather, and I encourage people to join C4 and learn about all the what he makes this belt with, how it's made by hand, and how many hours did you say it again? It was
120 hours of hand engraving.
120 hours hand engraving. It's not part of
No
everything
power
else.
tools. Yeah, no
Yeah,
power tools. It's
yeah.
hand
All
chisel stuff.
handmade, no acid etching, no. That's how this is made. And I don't, as my 20, I started this hobby in 99, got my first belt like in 2000. And we were spoiled in an era where you can only get, Reggies and Millikins and Jamar, even though, Jamar and Millikins are scum. You are getting one of the most important belts if you do this. And Colin takes payment plans, takes everything. You're getting one of the most important belts of all time. I mean, this is it where this has been reached. And it's just should be celebrated. And I want people to not knock this, not to down on it. Oh, it doesn't look like this. It does. Conrad Thompson has said, you nailed this. You have the same maker making it. You have the same lineage and Ortiz family that have put this in there. It is down to the T how the original was made, right down to the stitching. And that's what I wanted to put my thing on it. Is it's historic and it should be celebrated. Don't be jealous. Celebrate it. And it's amazing what you've done. You're talking about the belt buckle?
Yep. So as you can see, the buckles, they're
Exactly,
Crumrine.
Antonio.
It's exact,
That,
and those things, they're very high quality casts of the masters. The masters of those buckles are almost priceless, and what you have there in your big old belt is the master. So the true value of this belt is way more than what I'm selling it for. But the real reason we're doing this is we want to bring the art back and bring
Antonio, you can make payments. Colin will work with you. He didn't make this to not be the price that you're charging for this is unreal for around $4,000. Unreal when you couldn't even go to Crumrine yourself and get it for 14.50. I tried in the mid 2000s, and I got quoted nearly almost $15,000. You can put a little bit aside. Colin will work with you. He made this for all of us, and he's put in. And I've watched this guy be up so many hours at night when it's his time night, and I'm in the day, and he's up 2, 3, 4 in the morning with a family, with all these going through with this in the family. And I wouldn't know what that's like. I know that's like father, mother, sister, and brother all died within a 2-year span. I know what that's like, and I couldn't believe trying to do this. He's done it for us, and he's done it and made all these, walking relationships, talking relationships, put in all the effort to be able to make this. Not for himself. He could have easily just made one and been like, guess what, guys? Look what I got. He's doing it for the hobby, and I appreciate that at a price point that is manageable. So I hope you guys will take advantage of the payment plans. I hope you take advantage of this. Um, just like there's other makers that make a replica of this, you're not getting a replica. You're getting an actual Crumrine belt. And while other makers make a beautiful one too, get those as well if you want them to. But they're sorry to say, this is where it's at. This is where the standard, and it just should be celebrated. Um, I'm not. I don't. I help Colin out, just getting this word out because I want to, because I'm passionate about what he's done for as long as I'm here. Because I'm not going to be here very long, and I want people to own this belt. I'm so very blessed to have this belt back here, and I absolutely love it. It's been with me to the hospital. It's laid with me in my bed while I'm not there. It's that important to me, and I like it because it brings you back to that feeling of 1986 when Ric Flair is holding that belt, and you're like, I want that. I've got to have it. And now you can. So please take advantage of that. And I want everybody to understand that Colin will do anything to help you. He's that good of a person, and he's done this for the hobby at a price point that's just amazing. And I hope, Antonio, you get it. You're one of the good guys in the hobby. You're a great maker. You've got a great podcast over at Goat Milk Diaries. I forget your page again. You can put it up again because of my head thing, but they got a great page over there. Go visit them guys. But I hope you're able to get one. But yes, people do not understand. This is a great comment too. Some people don't get all the implications Colin has put into this point. Mind blowing. 5 years. And before that 5 years, you experimented with belts even before that and trying to do some things. And you've got help from people. And you mentioned Groovy G, who makes his own belt, but yet he's saying this is where it's at. And Groovy G makes a nice, very affordable one. If you can't go to this, he makes a great one too. Get his too. Support that guy. Support the guys that are out there doing this. Don't knock them for them getting up, because I don't think anyone out there would put their 2 cents up on what they could make, for doing that. So don't knock some of these guys that are doing it. Applaud it, whether you like it or not. If somebody asks your opinion, then give it. But don't knock these guys for doing stuff.
Thank you. I'd like to add this. With my posts in things, I only post in sites that while I'm a business. So I post in sites that I can actually moderate, because I'm not about stirring debate. We don't ever want to have this C4 versus whatever acronyms versus any other belt maker. We exist in our area, they exist in theirs. And
go get a Facebook user, whoever you are, put your name in there. Go get you one. He says, I remember it in 91, love at first sight. I need this. You do if you want to be in the hobby. So just take a little bit of time. Don't anybody do any. Don't put the cereal. Don't take the cereal out of your kid's mouth. Make sure that, maybe instead of Fruity Pebbles, get them Pebbles. Buy some generic. But yes. You do. Antonio asked about, you haven't settled, or you have settled exactly on this new version of the price point, but it's not going to be very much more than the 4 you were already at, right?
Now, let me take this a bit further, right? Why I say we can't have, I won't allow in my posts and my sites and things, any debates comparing, like, say, my C4 versus whatever else, okay?
Yeah, you can do that on your own page, your own time. You don't want to give publicity to your own page for other makers.
Yeah. The point I want to make with that is,
right,
is that we exist on a different market we're not even belt makers. We're jewelers and silversmiths and saddlers. We're not belt makers. We're not. Maybe with the next venture I'll get into it, but we don't make asset etch. We don't do CNC. We don't do all that kind of stuff with this big gold belt. So there's room for everyone. But the other one is without let's say CS or ORM or all these fellas, right? I appreciate them because why? Without them, there would be no price point. There would be no market.
Exactly. Everybody has had a little bit of pushing to where you've gotten to, and why those make a beautiful one. If you want something with the actual Crumrine name, this is where you got to go.
Yeah, and I've basically marketed because I saw the price point of CS or ORM or whatever it would be, right? I put the price exactly the same, all right, maybe a little more. Actually, some people are telling me it's a little less than what CS and all that would.
Because they're
because I want to bring this belt
flattering. I've seen the box that they're now starting to do, and you have a case. If you guys go in the unboxing video, you have the case. You have it comes in a blue velvet bag, just like it did in Ric Flair, but you have an actual aluminum case that has a logo on it, and then you get a certificate inside of it. So
because I'm doing this is basically to bring the legacies forward. It's not about the profits. My mortgage isn't dependent on it. I have a very successful day job and career for over 25 years.
Yeah,
this is really a work of love, and to give to the belt community, right? To give to everyone, because it's a piece of jewelry. It's not just a belt, as you can see. Even if you've never seen a wrestling belt in your life and you saw this, you can't deny it.
Look at that. Look at the hair on them.
Now, this is what you're seeing. So this is the actual piece of the original cast from the original big gold belt. So it's not a what do you call it? It's not a cast of a cast. So what we had previously was a cast of a cast. Which doesn't look too much different, but this is, as you can see, I don't want to mention too much, but you can see there is a difference. And you actually know that this is a piece of history. And it's only ever fitting. You can take, let's say if you take this and put on another belt, it just looks ridiculous. It only looks right if
look
you've
at the
got
carvings in there.
Yeah, if it's a real Crumrine piece. Crumrine Ortiz piece, you see.
Right. And real quick, go over what exactly it's made from, a real brief thing, because I wanted to get that in this video too, because this will get a lot of replays, and I know those questions are going. But briefly, can you give what it's made of?
Right. So to bring in the market, the original was solid sterling silver, 925. This has sterling silver plated on top of German silver, which is an alternative that's used in the Crumrine buckles themselves. So when you buy a Crumrine buckle, the high end would be German silver, the lower end would be jeweler's bronze. Okay, that's for proper silversmith engraving. So there's none of this zinc business, but it's actually that. And then it's actually harder to make these than even the original, because the original you just gold plate and then you engrave away, engrave away bits to expose to silver. This one we had to engrave, plate, mask, and then plate. You see? So this actually, as you've noticed, you've never seen this plating before in any other wrestling belt, because the truth is this technique is patented by Crumrine themselves. That's why I told you we had Crumrine involvement
from the beginning.
You see? So that's what you're getting. We're doubling down on the silver to bring you the exact presentation of the belt in 1986. And also, this is heavy electroplating. It's built for a lifetime, just like your Crumrine buckles are. So that's why that's what you're seeing. It's a lot to explain, but you can see it at first glance.
Right. Okay, and then go into your leather.
Okay, so the leather. Well, it's double celery leather, uh, and what's that? That leather is used for is for horses' bridles. So the highest level of leather you can get is reserved for horses' bridles.
And
Uh,
on the farm here, yes, it's durable. Yep.
Yep. And it's durable. It's made to last. Well, the original was like this. That's why it's lasted 37, 39 years.
Right.
And we've brought that back. One side of this leather is around about $600. Right? Double that, and that's what you've got in this belt. See, so our leather is worth more than most belts, but we can only put the best on the very best.
You have.
Saddle makers to make this, so it's not the normal belt leather person, which is that's an art in its own. Like I said, we're from a different industry
Saddlesmith.
than belt makers, so this is saddle earring. That's why you can
And he
get
was
this kind
he
of fish.
he was on that when we our first interview with you. He was a part of that, and you guys can go watch that on Wide World of Belts or C4 Belts page. Love Those Wrestling Belts page. It's also on that, or you can go to the YouTube C4 Authentic Belts on YouTube, and you can watch that video too. But
Yep,
go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but I want to make that good point that you can see this guy going through all that pieces and the questions that I had and asked about the even the thread. The thread, I can't remember what exactly it's called. I have it wrote down somewhere, but it was a special even thread.
yep. It's Viga Tiger thread. That's the thread waxed.
There it is. Right, right. And there's a little
Yep,
stamp on the back of the belt too.
yep. And then on the back, we've matched the same stamp size and
Good
lettering
job.
as the original Harris. But what we put on there is either one of two. One is made by Victor Ortiz and Sons in exclusively for C4 thin belts, and these particular ones here, uh, which will eventually be used for competition. We had C4 Authentic Official Championship. So when we,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
competition, that's
Still,
what.
still dropping surprises. Still dropping surprises. Did you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
So it's always been a push for us to bring back the original big gold belt for competition. Um, there's a lot of lessons learned. We originally wanted to do that through Starcast, but it's not really a wrestling kind of show. We had Flair's last match and things like that, and everyone's on board with it. But we've got to give this true representation, the street cred of it. So what we want to do is we want to start international competitions within regions and things, and then build it up. Build up. Let's say who's the best in that region. We'll crown that with the big gold, and then we build that up. All right, this is the iconic big gold. If you want to be known as the best of the best, the real world's champion, you come and challenge for this. It's open. So we want to bring back the real credibility of the big gold belt and whoever wears it. That's some things that we've been chatting away as well with Bret Hart and things, and all the people involved that you've seen. But yeah, it's a long-term plan. But as you can see, someone's told me once, I kind of have or a habit of making my wildest dreams come true, and I think with everyone involved here and all your support, we might be able to just pull that off.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely think you can. There's nothing. I would never doubt what your ability. I would have. If you would have told me this 5 years ago, even 2 years, or if I didn't know nothing about that, somebody come to me and said, can this be done? I'd be, nope, nope, can't do it. Nope, nope, can't be done. And look what you've done. It's incredible, and it should be celebrated. And there's a lot of guys that are happy with theirs, and and to be a part of that family. And here's another guy right here in town. You can, guys that own them, speak up about what it is. I have the unboxing video of it that you guys can go watch. I think you even put it on your C4 page. I know Carmine did one too, but when I held that belt, I was truly speechless. I couldn't believe how bright, how beautiful, how colorful it was. The smell is just, before I even cracked open, I got it out of the box and I could already smell the leather. And every time people walk in this room that come over, even friends, when they come over, like, man, I can still smell that belt. I smelled all your other leathers before, but that saddle leather, I said, yeah, it hits different. There's no real, it's got a lot of flexibility. And then as you hold it more over time, you'll see that it becomes like that Ric Flair did, where it's just so smooth, buttery. You got to put your oils into it and your hands into it, like with any leather, but it's so amazing, and it's thick. It's double. Just stitching right down to the details on the stitching is just amazing on this belt. I'm just in awe of everything that you've been able to do.
Yeah. And one thing with your belts, people ask me, oh, what's changed and things like that. It's like, well, every single belt is the absolutely best that we can possibly do. We make them one at a time, right? So let's think about it. Back in the day, someone would release a silversmith belt. And I know other sites would, Belt Talk, for God's sake, brought out a belt called it the Crumrine 3. Okay, and that was done by Victor before he even knew, not Victor, by Roberto company that he worked for a long time ago, and he had no idea what the context was, and it was kind of a failure, to be honest. All right, and they called it a Crumrine 3, right, because of that involvement. I wouldn't do that until I had Crumrine on board. So you look at the number on your belt. If yours is 25, you have the Crumrine 25. You have the big gold 25. If you have number 10, you have the big gold 10. Right? That's the kind of authenticity I've been working so hard to include, and to be able to let you know that, particularly with making the relationships, with doing things right, with giving back to the families involved, that now we can actually celebrate this and call it for what it is.
Right. Do you want to watch this video real quick that you sent me, and then we'll wrap it up after that?
Yep, sure.
All right, we'll do that. Let's see. Scott said real quick, I remember when you first started getting things together, Colin. He absolutely has. Appreciate that that comment, Scott. That's humbling, and people need to understand that. If you have something that might not have the crumb, like if you have a CS or an ORM, that's okay. Don't be negative about something just because you don't own it. Vince is a great example of that. They make a great one over there, and he's on here saying, this is amazing, this is great, this is it, this is where it comes to be. And there was his comment before, and he's going to get one too. And it's true. It's the legacy. So let's take a look at this video right here. You guys enjoy this. Let me get that banner out of the way so we can get all the goodness in here. You guys check a load of this video real quick, and then we'll come back after that. It's only a 3-minute video.
Just get the audio.
You're not able to hear the audio?
Yeah, we need the audio.
Why did this not? You can't hear the audio.
No, sorry.
All right, let's try this again here.
You probably have to present with sound, with computer sound.
You heard it earlier, so just give me 1 second here.
Yeah. Now, I'll just, while he's setting up, I put that together. They're the 3 belts that we worked so hard to get ready for StarCast. So it was a combination of all the 5 years of work, the relationships. We finally be able to secure some pieces to put on these belts as well. So what you're seeing, these are the 3 belts that have the original pieces on it, and also all the learnings that we had.
Here we are.
Can you hear it now?
The 3
All right, there we go.
Ortiz Crumrine big gold belts, C4 authentic. These were made just in the nick of time for StarCast, featuring our 5 years of hard work, as well as the conchos and figures from the original cast eyes of the big gold belt. 120 hours each of hand engraving, no power tools. 5 years of recreating the original style of the Ortiz families. Bright cut silversmith engraving. To make it 3D, to make it as legendary as it was meant to be from day one. We were supposed to display this with the original big gold belt. However, unfortunately, Conrad couldn't make it. Fortunately, we have more than made up for it. To bring back not 1, not 2, but 3 original big gold belts in the glory and shame and brilliance that was how it was intended and shown in 1986. We can think about it funnily, as for fun, that we went back in time and brought back the young Ric Flair. And we went back and brought back a young Dusty Rhodes. And we went forward in time to the 90s. Or we might have even brought him back in time to the 80s to make Bret Hart his own official nameplate. Fits the original, it fits this one, because we actually have 3 original Crumrine Ortiz C4 big gold belts.
That's
There we
just
go.
wow. That's just incredible. It's like you need to do the Masters comment. This is 7th green. Got a putt for 64 6 inches. Let's see what it's doing. you need to be doing that live. 2nd round. Augusta National friends, welcome. you got that voice for that. If anybody's got any quick questions, now's the time to ask it. We're going to wrap this up. We've been here a little over an hour. We'll be talking to Colin more. This is but we're not done with him. He's got a lot more coming up, and a lot more other stuff, and we'll be talking about it right here, live from the power of your internet on Double Drop Kick Podcast. But you also wanted to say really quickly, another big announcement. We'll just be brief about this one because we'll go into this one on the next interview, that you are announcing your partnership. You want to announce that, or with the fan, how you wanted to say that with the loved ones?
Yep. So yeah, so we're going into partnership with the loved ones of Reggie Parks in terms of, as you probably know, Reggie was kind of left on a high and dry after he passed, particularly the promises to look after his beloved, and the likes of myself and some friends, we couldn't stand for that. So we actually have some of Reggie's original artworks, the beloveds, entrusted to us, and we want to bring back some of his belts that with the original work that he has, and give the proceeds back to the people that cared about him and looked after him the most.
There you go. Round of applause for that. Round of applause for that. Hope you guys stuck around to the end on that one. We're going to be talking more about that. But again, C4 Belts has teamed up to get some of the artwork from the loved ones that cared for Reggie the most and took care of him, to have those belts that you're going to be doing at a later date. And you'll talk about that a little bit more on another episode right here. You'll join it with me and we'll break it here. But that's incredible. And that money, part of that money or some of that money, however you do it, but you just said we'll go back to those that helped him and take care of him, so that Reggie Parks' legacy will live on. So, but I appreciate it. Let me see if there's any quick questions real quick. Did you guys know, everybody seems to have that. Antonio, get a hold of Colin, work out something, go over that price point, which was, mine was right around 4K. He said it's going to be near that for this. Did you want to say that yet? Or had you have the final exact price on what you're doing? And we didn't get that question answered.
Yeah, the price
put up on the website, c4authenticbelts.com.
All right. If you're lucky, because I may raise the price a little bit, but also I have to charge for the Crumrine upgrade. That's around about 500 or so, but I haven't done that yet. So if you jump in there now, soon, and secure, put a deposit or whatever, secure the price that's on the website, right? I'll stick to that.
Oh, wow.
I'll charge you a bit of a discount for the upgrade as well.
Did everybody hear that? And your website again was
www.c4authenticbelts.com. So if you might be able to take advantage of a loophole, because I haven't got around to updating the website yet, and you will be able to lock in the price before any increases. And
attention all shoppers of C4 Belts, make sure you go to C4 Authentic Belts right now. The boss hasn't raised the price.
So you got to do that. You got to do that. You got to do it. But again, I want to thank Colin, for doing this, and to wrap up 30 seconds. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, thanks for supporting me, and thanks for being part of all this together.
It's been my pleasure, my honor. I'm proud, of what you have done and what you have accomplished. There's really nothing like it. You guys need to jump on this. Stay humble, stay classy, do the right thing, guys. I also want to quickly join Wide World of Belts, join Championship Belt Brothers, join Love Those Wrestling Belts. Some of the greatest news in wrestling related is right there at Love Those Wrestling Belts. And then make sure you go over to Colin's page, C4 Authentic Belts, join his page, see all the updates, see all the pictures. Colin, I appreciate it. You are the best, my man. Hold on backstage. I'll talk to you and send you off. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please thank Colin and C4 Belts.
Everyone, you're all the best.
Guys, it's been an incredible show. I thank you so much for joining me. Be kind to everybody. Stay humble. And we'll see you on the flip side. Remember, double drop kick right here. We'll see you again. And thanks, Colin, again. And we appreciate everybody. We will see you again soon. Thanks you for watching the following broadcast of Double Drop Kick.